The Divine Animals Oracle has 44 cards. I cannot do a single reading explaining and expanding on 44 cards in one go, so I'll have to split the deck up and the video. I will try and upload all of them. Each might be short and lacking in finer details, but as I've said, this is a simple screening selection. Here are 44 cards from the back. I will show them in this intro video and the cards. A general number and alphabet will be assigned. Here's the number, alphabet, and the temporary ID will be listed in the other videos, so you know which one you have chosen. Hope you find these quick selections helpful and decisive. See you in the selections. Hello everyone, it's July 5th, the first new moon of July, featuring the Divine Animals Oracle by Stacey Demarco, illustrated by Kinga Britschgi. Since this is from a full deck display series, today we'll be reading 11 cards from Set C of Divine's Animal Oracle. Next is the Rider Week Pocket Edition by author Edward Waite, illustrated by Pamela Coleman-Smith. I will pull a minimum of one major arcana from this and a few minor arcanas. Lastly, we have the Sacred Spirit reading cards. Made by Anna Stark and illustrated by Dyer. I will polish off the reading with this. And now I will carry on to the first card. But if you hear thundering and rain in the distance, well, it's the weather. And as for that water trickling sound, is my fish tank. Card C1, you are the wolf. Number 17, representing authenticity. Have you been forced into making decisions that aren't yours? Because the wolf is showing up for you today. All this while, there have been that nagging feeling, the microaggressions, the resistance. You keep telling yourself that things will get better. But now, you're sick, frustrated, hungry, and just a bit too angry. You are losing your respect towards authority and the traditions in the environment around you. Now, the two have crossed paths. You hunger for more and are beginning to seek further out in the wild for sustenance. The human, the hunter, is exploring further out in the wild, while the wolf, also a hunter, is seeking closer to human habitation. Now, they are sizing each other up. Neither are sure if the other is food. It's the first time either have met the other. Wolves in the real world are a heavily prosecuted species. This picture right here looks like a grey wolf. They can be found in Europe, Northern Asia, and North America. In the ranges where wolves overlap with other canine species, hunting by humans have driven their numbers down to the point the other canine species have interbred with them, producing hybrids that break the expectations of either. Normally, wolves would chase off or kill the other canines, as wolves are highly territorial. Farmers and ranchers have an exceeding amount of hate for these beautiful creatures, and poor education, misinformation, and rabies have resulted in the extinction of wolves in several regions and states of America. Mind you, the grey wolves are listed as least concern in Wikipedia, but tell that to the hunters contracted to cull ridiculous numbers of elk, deer, feral sheep, goats, to haul them away knowing all of these will go into the landfill. Moreover, as the top predator, wolves are linchpins of the ecosystem. The loss of wolves results in the population explosion of the herbivores I've mentioned before. They eat up the fresh saplings, grasses, wild herbs, flowers, leaving other less mobile herbivores to starve. Smaller mammals now have nowhere to hide or feed, causing their population to dip dramatically. Land erosion picks up, and lake turns brown and muddy. Roads become unstable, collapsing in some areas. Yellowstone National Park discovered this the hard way after sponsored programs and overzealous hunters wiped out the local wolf population. All of a sudden, the park became drab and dull, losing all its young plants. The older trees didn't fare well either, as the topsoil eroded, exposing their fragile roots. Their barks were scraped off and eaten by desperate animals. It was an all-round disaster for the park and its wildlife. It's more expensive to mitigate damages to the ecosystem with licensed hunting season, road repairs, and tree planting than it is to allow the wolves to thrive, and subsidize lost farm animals, if any. Wolves have always existed as an important part of history, religion, and culture. Their persecution isn't new to history, and with modern technology, their end have only become easier. Have you truly? What have you been oppressed and persecuted for? Will the loss of the people you are result in a depletion of the colors of the world? Spiritually, wolves represent constant improvement, perseverance, triumph over obstacles, freedom, war, protection from harm, power, and just like their doggo counterparts, loyalty and teamwork. The wolf inside you is yearning to howl your truth to the world. It may be hard through the persecutions after you, but you'll manage. Just like the wolf, you have found a community. You trade resources, share amongst the elderly and young. You have pack mates. You watch their kids as though they are your siblings. Many of them, just like you, are thinking of forming their own pack outside their natal territory. When the days grow short and the nights long, your kind will howl at the moon and keep in contact. Be brave, child. You were born to be wild and free. Major Arcana, Judgment. Something big is coming. Oh lordy lord, it is coming. Could be a lawsuit, a revolt, a revolution, or a great societal upheaval. Generally, I see things turning out positively for you. It will be a huge mess. And I sense that once things end, you will breathe a sigh of relief. It's hard to see which character you are. Here, all these guys at the back. I see many of the audience are in each role. One extra thing to note is that you have a huge set of pipes. Perhaps you are in the orchestra, or you are a singer. But it may be that you tattled to the public on a huge issue. You may also be the one who broke the news or sounded the alarm. Either way, the issue you are now embroidered in has hit mainstream attention. News media outlets are relaying the information, and there's no putting the cat back. I do sense signs of justice coming through. You may also live near the polar regions or are currently in winter. Spiritually, the Judgment card in isolation means awakening, resurrection, God's will, resolution, and finality. It is literally the card before the world. Now, The Rider-Waite deck has a distinctly Abrahamic view, so this angel here should be Israfil. There are interpretations that this is Angel Gabriel armed with a trumpet to declare and announce important events. There is a lot of missing information, so I'll move on to the minor arcana to discern what the messages are. 9 of Pentacles. A little birdie told you something rich. You have lived your life with a fair amount of luxuries. Never needing more, but always wanting. Perhaps it is a gilded cage, a pedestal or position of wealth and power. You have had a few pets whose passing shook you greatly. Those few pets of yours are also the only few things that you truly got to choose for yourself. Despite your riches, you have always been lonely and wanting. You dreamed of fleeing into the wild, living a life as a mountain hermit. But the drag of your heavy layers of silk keeps you pampered and bound. You have had very few avenues for outside contact. One of them was what you like to call a little birdie. This guy here. Whoever they are in reality, they seem to be the only source of external information, and may be your only trustworthy friend. You love little comely songs, and you have a huge garden, possibly a mansion just out of view. But that was to your childhood to twin life. The next card is the Queen of Cups. You may have married at this point or born alive. Everything is looking up from what everyone else is saying, but you feel like you are drowning. If anything, adulthood seems to have made your cage smaller, more restrictive. You now have to navigate social and societal pressures and demands. You feel less like a human than a breeding stock. Perhaps you have been made a mother too young. Your skin grows thin and pale to the point of sickness. Fragility so deep you find it hard to leave the bed. You might have lost contact to your buddy friend, your little songbird. Emotions pour out of you into the nether. Nobody cares about your personal feelings, and you are too young to begin speaking. You haven't talked to an actual human being in so long. What skills you have are withering. So lonely. The 5 of Swords is a sudden conflict, a betrayal. This is quite confusing because I cannot see where this conflict began or escalated. Suddenly, everything is on fire and everything else is vanishing. It could be a coup, one that overthrows the social order of the time. Your family is left destitute. Perhaps you don't even have a family anymore. There is a potent sense of emptiness. I don't think you have any true friends, or that when shit hit the fan, all your friends disappeared. There may have been a sneaky someone orchestrating these events, but you have very few clues who or where they are and why they did this. You seem to be so over these events, and these 3 cards feel so suppressed, like you are trying to push down these things of the past. 7 of Swords. Widely known as the worst pick to draw, this card in particular feels like it speaks of current times and the future. A few members of the audience have this in the past, but more than half is at least a current or continuation into the near future. Personally, the previous cards hinges on your denial of the situation, and it is hard to tell what happened back then. There is a significant gap between the 3rd card and the 4th. Hypothetically, there should be at least one more card in between them. but you refuse to acknowledge or want to hear about it. You may still carry some guilt in these affairs that have taken place. Some of the guilt might be misplaced, but others are hard to tell. It's murky. For this fourth card, someone seems to have stolen from you. The betrayal was set early and continues on today. It seems like you lived in a classic story of Princess in the Tower, and after the king was overthrown, so did your status. It might be possible that you benefited from an oppressive regime. Your life hangs on keeping your mouth shut. You wish to be a good person, but you couldn't give up your luxuries for the justice of the oppressed. In any case, a decision was made without your consent, just as it did all this while. Curiously, I sense a few individuals coming out as LGBTQA+, and losing everything as such. While this fourth card is ongoing, the wolf card is prominently present. So you do have a community that you are in connection to. I don't get why these cards of the past hangs over you so. There is a decent sense of divine guidance due to the judgment card, but you are not exactly patient zero here. There is no use prying your lips open, so if you wish to resist me, so be it. Expansion. Educate your mind and senses. LOL. Found Jesus, did ya? And at the same time, female pleasure and hairy pubes. I'm guessing a large part are lesbian or trans. Lots of trauma in the past. This answers the question of why you are suppressing your past so hard. You have lived in oppression, even when uplifted and placed on a pedestal. You could have been Mormon. You found your community of disfellowship ex-Mormons, a few apostates in the crowd, and one or two Pastafarians. Funny guys knows pasta guys, so... If you are lesbian or in the LGBTQA+ community, I can see how you can have a community with strong bonds, shared resources, yet still be surrounded by thieves and betrayers. You might not have left the immediate area of cult toxicity yet. Whether you are reborn as a man or a woman, you will have to stay strong and keep an eye out for trouble. The wolf has shown up for you after all. There are lessons you can learn from them. You have been kept deprived of common knowledge and critical thinking. Late into adulthood, you realize how little you know the world. Every day, you break a little bit of your old world and remake them better. I have reached the end. Now I'll move on to the next card. Card C2, we have the Armadillo. Number 7, representing groundedness. The sun is shining hard on the South American desert. These pyramid-like structures look like Aztec temples. Strangely enough, the area the Aztecs lived in is known for its fertility of the soil. They are known to be great farmers and have excellent irrigation systems for their time. Great structured cities, sewage disposal, arts, and made rather accurate calendars. Chinapas, the floating gardens of artificial islands, are attributed to the Aztecs. When the Europeans reached them, they were impressed with how organized and clean everything was. But the gold they warred for and traded for was also the Aztecs' downfall. A conflict of greeds for the Chinese lasting till today, legends of the gold city of El Dorado and treasure hunts still make their way into movies and games. These men may be their priests and warriors. The Aztecs did fear and revere the sun at the end of the world. They believed that the sacrifices were necessary in preventing the earth from eating them, and that the sun ran on human blood sacrifice. Like any culture, there were those who sought to exploit their positions, causing wars and reigns to be bloodier than it has to be. The armadillo was also known as the tortoise rabbit or turtle rabbit, which is so fucking cute. It definitely looks like some sort of fat, round rodent. Too meek to be rats, too bumbling to be mice, and too easily spooked to be capybara. Capybaras are notoriously known for their chill. This could also be a giant armadillo, but could also be an artistic thing. Spiritually, they meant a lot of things to different cultures. Protection, self-defense, wisdom, tenacity, patience, persistence, humility. For the Mayans, the armadillo was associated with the sun god. Ding. Maybe it's not an Aztec priest and warrior here. Maybe it's an Aztec and Mayan priest. In the real world, armadillos are hunted for their meat by rural people and tribes. Luckily, most of them have a stable population, and only 2 species are near threatened. Knowing that armadillos carry leprosy, rabies, parasites, it takes quite a bit of courage to eat them. So their meat have never taken off in the exotic bushmeat sector. That said, armadillos are extremely reclusive, so it's hard to count their numbers. They often become roadkill due to how slow they move. They are relatives of sloths that grew a shell. Like other rodents and rabbits, they are burrowers and live their life underground, exiting in search of food and water. They can become a little bit of a pest, digging under houses and sheds, but most sane people find them hard to hate. The High Priestess. Priests and priestesses have appeared for you. So this is a big heads up, spiritual awakening imminent. You may also be called to channel gods or act as medium and priest for them, so keep your ears perked. Connecting to the higher powers, the likes of gods, can be hard on the human body and mind, so take frequent breaks and nourishment. The armadillo also calls you to ground yourself. If you reach out and connect to the gods, having a firm grip on the present reality and grounding yourself will help stave off the worst of the side effects. Now, I don't recommend those under 25 to try connecting to a god as a priest or medium. You should take this time to build your foundations first. Immerse yourself with mortal affairs, the present world, the people around you. Starting priesthood young isn't necessary in this day and age. As the High Priestess suggests, seclusion, study, mystery unraveling, thinking, reflection, knowledge, and having a personal spiritual wellspring are all the qualities you should need and have before the next step. Temperance. It is a card of alchemy, mixture, patience, balance, moderation, harmony, and calm. You are getting called out here. You are definitely biting off more than you can chew. Your eagerness in success and spiritual wealth has led you to consume all the fertility in the soil before you. This is a card that tells you to slow down, ground yourself, before you lose yourself. A puppet is a useless to a god. They need a priest, a spiritual translator, not a self-absorbed twat. You need to close off, to halt yourself, to heal your wounds, and to take a measure of yourself and your abilities before continuing on your spiritual journey. You aren't just pushing yourself, you are also pushing the gods away with your ardor. No one wants a madman on the podium, and that's what you are heading towards, a babbling bloke. You make the gods look bad as your channeler, and sometimes you even make up signs and symptoms. The camel is carrying a huge load of shit, and you are about to put the last straw on their back. You know, you're so close to becoming the weirdos and fanatics online, talking about shooting keyboards out of your eyes. Be like an armadillo, touch grass, and roll in grass. The Ten of Pentacles. There is a lot that you have, but you keep reading this wealth. This card is reversed when it's upright. Your obsession with spirituality is hemorrhaging your spiritual and financial wealth. The things you are seeing is covering over the roses and the grandeur in your life. You are actively harming the quality of your life and living conditions. When was the last time you deep cleaned your house? Are you forcing the other members of your house and family to live in the same filth as you do? The things that are upright, you interpret as reversed. The more you have, the more you want. It's like salt water. And that greed for psychic El Dorado is going to kill you, just like all the wannabe explorers who bought equipment and disappeared south never to return. The legend you chase will be your last, and your bounties will be as barren as the desert here. The Ace of Pentacles. There is hope. There is a possibility. A way out. An armadillo, when spooked, curls into a ball and shoves their face into their ass. You, however, need to pull your head out of your ass. And face the music. The gods want their priests and priestesses, not some psycho who will garble their message, twist their words, or use their names in vain. Making the gods look bad isn't something people survive doing long for. My dear, you are on thin ice. Get your shit together, get a professional help, and for the love of God, take a fucking bath. Sacred divinity, there are two paths ahead. Yep, either you die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. Unlike Two-Face, if you see the error of your ways, you will continue and become the hero of your community, the speaker of the gods, the priestess of the divine. But if you continue on your way of arrogance, greed, unwillingness to be humble, and recognize your wrongdoings, you will die a villain. Hated and despised by everyone you once helped. The gods have no issue tossing you into the cauldron and divine flames to baptize you. And call it a day. They won't bother to retrieve your body either. But if you manage to change, grasp the Ace of Pentacles, you will have an awakening like no other, a promised revelation, a divine truth. I have now reached the end, and I'll move on to the next card now. Card C3, you have the Sea Turtle. Number 8 representing stability. I know sea turtles aren't the animals that are fluffy and huggable, but turtles and tortoises are so fucking cute to me. I wanna grab the flippy flippers and pinch it. I'll do it in my imagination because doing it in real life will cost me my fingers and earn me some jail time, probably. This fucking monster using the hatchling as a pillow has the right idea. Sea turtles, unlike land turtles, cannot hide in their shells. While hiding in their shells can be an effective predator deterrent, once you see the images of sea turtle shells bitten in half by a great white, you can begin to understand why sea turtles evolved this way. When hiding inside your shell is useless, best to improve dodging and fleeing skills. Dodge and flee they do, but with great fishing technology, the main killers of matured sea turtles aren't sharks, but humans. Lazy fishermen cut off tangled nets, people litter in the sea that look like food, the ocean's currents and temperatures becoming unpredictable and unstable from climate change. There are plenty of things to cause their demise, and a lot of them are human actions. Accidental bycatch aside, in Asian, Southeast Asian, Caribbean, and African cultures, sea turtle flesh and eggs are eaten as a tradition, a delicacy, and as an aphrodisiac. One of the reasons that tree planting initiatives often fail is that they usually are commenced in an area surrounded by poverty. In the face of dying in the bitter cold today and harvesting wood 10 years later, most would choose to live today. Same with sea turtles. It requires more than making turtle flesh and eggs illegal. Enforcement makes the law. It is only illegal if you are capable of catching the poachers. Having beaches cordoned off and trained guards posted will do better in protecting sea turtles. As those things aren't bad enough, they are marine mammals that live most of their lives and mate in the oceans. With the females coming onto land to lay eggs, sea turtles have a special way to determine gender: lower temperature for males and higher temperature for females. With climate change, this has resulted in more females. This means that the matured females ready to nest and mate have trouble finding males. Mating can take hours, and the male attaching himself to her shell to prevent other males from doing the same. This means that other ready females may not become mated within the day. The mating season may last a few months, but if only 1 or 2 females become inseminated by a male a day, that's a lot less than ideal. Not to mention that the same mated female may return to mate again to prepare for a new clutch, increasing the competitions between males and females between females for mates. So now they have to deal with lowered genetic diversity. Spiritually, sea turtles means wisdom, longevity, experience, knowledge, harmony with the ocean, the waves and tides, good luck, fertility, and the creation or preservation of the world and universe. The chariot: success, direction, choices, and paths in line, help, control, and overcoming obstacles. The square shape on his armor is particularly catching my attention. It could mean a badge or a nameplate. It should be hints to authority. I can't tell you at this point if the authority is you, but it seems that you are more of the cargo, or the engineers at the back. It feels more like someone else is in the helm driving this carriage. It doesn't feel too negative either, so I can't say if you're being taken for a ride. In general, a distant authority is making decisions that affect your life. You have some, if minimal, options to control the situation. There is a larger force blocking me from seeing what you're doing in the back. Not of protection. More like an existing infrastructure shielding you from being closely examined. This is interesting. The chariot usually does not act as a protector or a shield. Doesn't look like much of a divine force either. I'm pretty sure it's infrastructure and you are part of the cogs, or the workers inside the behemoth chugging along. I'm getting steampunk vibes. So you might be a co-worker, the boilerman, or the stoker. Most of first world countries have moved on to gas, hydro, aero, or nuclear power. So it's only developing countries or rural areas that still use coal. There might be that one guy who's a hobbyist fossil hunter. In that particular case, the infrastructure might be high-end museums, anthropologists, historians, and scholars that are, in a sense, protecting the pipeline which happens to cover you. 5 of Wands. I see the need for direction here. This is a card of creational conflict, mess, chaos, division, internal divide, refusal to submit, rejection of intellectual authority and experience, and petty squabbles. It might look like the ground is stable, but it is not. All of them are fighting as they are sinking into the swamp or the mud they kicked up. I feel so bad for the chariot here. Whatever the infrastructure or the authority here is, you guys are messing up his stability. Poor guy, getting sabotaged by know-it-alls who are supposed to be his supporters. He don't feel like a puppet leader either. Infrastructure can definitely withstand external attacks and waves, but if you guys keep fighting among yourselves, he won't be stable for long. 9 of Wands. Oh look, this 9 of Wands is judging you guys so bad. He got out of your mess, built a goddamn fence to keep you crazy bastards out. Even got bonked on the head for it. Well, readers, it seems like the 5 of Wands are the main core of the audience picking up this sea turtle card. And this 9 of Wands are the same, more competent people staring at you guys, wondering what is going on, sighing, and thinking of the mess they have to clean up after you guys. Seriously, you guys are adults, why can't you act like one? No wonder the sea turtle came now with the representation of stability. You guys need to find your zen and chill your fucking tits. Even your own people are beginning to see you guys as the enemies. Everyone is tired of this shit and thinking of ways to get rid of you guys. What a fucking embarrassment to your sponsors and supporters. Your enemies aren't the guys that are 99.99% alike with 0.1% difference. Do you really have to throw an adult baby tantrum over such a small thing? You're like the joke of the runaway princess sleeping on 100 mattresses and complaining of that one pee all the way at the bottom. People like you think they know everything and are here to tell you you fucking don't. In fact, the people who picked this card might think that they are these guys, but honestly you guys are these guys. Ace of Wands. Well. If it isn't a bonking stick for your noggin. Whoever you are, wherever you are, the ones backing the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, they have called for help. You guys are being watched, and here the help is coming for them to bonk you guys. The ace here is the backup ready to bash your head in if you don't get your shit together. They will tan your ass raw and serve your liver for supper. The Ace of Wands literally have your replacements lined up. They are tired of you guys hollowing out the chariot in your stupidity and unwillingness to compromise. If you can't appreciate the power and the authority you have, everyone else will. They will find people who will do the same job you do, and you will be relegated as the laughingstock. There will be no way you can step back into this career ever again. If, and only if, you are willing to take a step back, settle with a mutually beneficial plan, listen to your supporters and backers. Will the carriage that has stalled for years finally move? Everyone on board can finally get to their destination, and they wouldn't have to string you guys up on the hull to scare off pirates. Align your universe, navigate distractions. You see the sea turtle? But be the sea turtle. Find your stability, be the stability. Your world might be tossed around in the ocean, but you have to transform into a rock. Be like the old stories of turtles and tortoises. Be the foundation of the universe. Be the better person, the better adult, the better authority figure, cause you are on your last chance. There isn't anything I can say that I haven't already. So this will be the end here, and I'll move on to the next card. Card C4. We have the Jaguar. Number 9, representing release. Spiritually, Jaguars are seen as sacred protectors, divine authority and power. Leadership, explosive power, bodily control, fertility, strength, stealth, protection, and fierce authority are within their range. Jaguars live in the forests of South America and have the most powerful jaws of the cat family. They are famous hunters of the caiman and capybaras. As ambush hunters of the rainforests of the American continent, they stalk behind their prey, wait for the perfect moment, leap out of the hiding, and deliver a powerful bite to the back of the neck, severing the spine and causing an instant death. Their powerful jaws also allow them to bite through the skull, behind the ears of their victims and prey, and into the brain for an instant kill. Unlike other cats, they have no aversion to water. If anything, it's the opposite. Known to be strong swimmers, jaguars have been observed to carry large prey across rivers. Many animals use the river as a natural boundary and a barrier. If a predator comes after them, they will jump into and cross rivers. This barrier does not exist for the jaguars, and they will happily swim across the imaginary no-no zone and break your neck in 1 pounce. Jaguars may be highly solitary, although there are a slight tolerance to the opposite genders, allowing a small overlap in their territories. Like all other cats and great cats, they are opportunists. Oh my god. Opportunists. And it is a part of what makes them terrifying to the South American citizens and natives. Keeping a large fire going, high fence, night guards, and trimming down trees near the fence line is a daily effort to keep jaguars out of their homes. Even then, when taking water from the river, washing clothes, bathing, cutting firewood, hunting, foraging, any activities that takes place outside the fence line is a risk. Men, women, and children have been grabbed short of their village gates. Despite being a top predator and a keystone species, the jaguar, like many animals of the rainforests, are systematically hunted, trapped, poisoned, and cleared away by human activities. Deforestation and poaching are the main threats to jaguar populations. As humans encroach further into old-growth rainforests, human-jaguar conflicts increase. As the main forays of civilization into the wilds in South America usually revolves around farmland expansion. It is the farmers trying to make a living that are the most affected by jaguars killing their livestock. These powerful predators are killed for their pelts, canines, testicles, and other bodily parts used in talismans and superstitious traditional medicine. The devil. You are getting fucked real good. Now, I usually stay away from love readings and don't like to read them, but there's no avoiding it for this one. That dick is ripped for maximum pleasure. In nature, cats and big cats have bony spikes in their penises. It makes copulation painful for the females. In this reading, however, that thick schlong you are drooling over exists for you. I feel I'm being forced to narrate smuts, but them is a devil, so... Hedonism, pleasure, seduction, violence, twisted luck, lust, temptation, gluttony, sins. That is what the devil represents. While the usual reading of the devil revolves around evil, curses, the betrayal, destruction, decays, and lies, today is more of a wink, wink, wink. You are getting lucky tonight. It's a promise of intense pleasure and release. Your body will be worshipped and flicked to your heart's content. I'm not being paid to read lewd, so I'm gonna skip forward all the sexual information, skip it away, which leaves me next to nothing to read, you slutty son of a bitch. The King of Wands. Yeah, I know. You have a huge cock. Jesus Christ, are you insecure or something? Are you an exhibitionist? Why do you keep telling people that you're well endowed? God damn, I'm not interested in knowing. Fucking Christ, you desperate man whore. In non-sexual terms, the King of Wands is the card of leadership, authority, power, and creativity and intellectual. A motivator, a visionary, and an inspiration to many, they are the father of the land and the sons of the tribes. You may be coming into a great inheritance of power and authority. You are secure in your position and a solitary leader. There are many symbols of authority in this card. The crown, the throne, the spotted cape, the scepter, the lion, the dragon. So many symbols. Six of Wands. I hate this reading. Yeah, cock, big, etc. Fuck. Can we get to the rest? Even the horse is side-eyeing you. Victory, success, parade, trophy, triumph, love from the crowd, support from people, fan mail, love letters. There will be a celebration, a ritual, or a parade. A large roaring crowd gathered around. Flowers flying through the air, a possible competition, but victory is assured. Ace of Pentacles. You need birth control, cause impregnation is ensured. Either that or you have a breeding king. Your finances are definitely stable. I see a lot of stability and assurance on all fronts, so you can feel safe in starting a family. Otherwise, get snipped, get tied, and I have no other way to read this except perversions. Meditation. Improvements require persistence. Yay! Finally, some sane cards. If you are seeking spiritual improvement, here is an advice. Try meditation. Find soft, quiet areas away from hedonistic pursuits and relax your mind. You can try yoga or light aerobic exercises and breathing techniques. Lower the focus on the physical and try going through the emotional lane. You have to make a routine and stick to it, so don't think you'll get it instantly. You might be the impatient kind and maybe even tried meditation several times but failed. It's like digging a well. Everything starts with the first shovel of rocks and soil. Start slow, make it 5 minutes, then 10, then 15, and so on. Make a goal of 20 minutes by the end of the month. Meditation is not only about sitting in silence, but also allowing your thoughts to be honest. Read your backlog of worries one by one and give them your attention. Hedonistic pleasure should be enjoyed but not used as self-defense. Your prior lifetime of focus on your pleasures have left your mind and emotions in a more vulnerable state than usual. It makes you more susceptible to emotional manipulation and blackmail. Although I don't see any immediate threats, so this issue of yours should be solved before trouble actually appears. Illuminate the shadow, focus on a solution. Here it is. You do have trouble coming from a distance, and you see it too. So you do have to shift your focus into a more mental aspect to strengthen yourself. Having more insights into yourself empowers you against adversaries. It might take some time before the trouble lands on your doorstep, so you have a good amount of leeway to build a nice, strong fortress to meet them with. It might have been some time since you last did this, so it will take extra effort to begin. As I said before, schedule, clear the backlog, then fortify your assets and repair the cracks. That will be all. I will move on to the next card now. Card C5. We have the Red Fox. Number 3, representing strategy. Now, foxes in general are well known for their cunning, adaptability, curiosity, intelligence, and problem-solving skills. Spiritually, they have around the same reputation, but with added luck, love, romance, pair binding, and, well, romance. With the Japanese aesthetic that they have here on this character, I believe that they may be trying to depict kitsunes. With manga, anime, movies, and mass media, the tale of kitsunes are uncommon worldwide. The most famous of them are the nine-tailed foxes. In history, the kitsunes or nine-tailed foxes are limited to 9 tails. They can have 1,000 tails or more. In the past, they were seen more as protectors of the farmland, as foxes prey on small mammals like mice and rodents, and will even pounce on grain-eating sparrows. Needless to say, in early Japanese society, they then associated foxes with Inari, the god of harvest. At first the emissary, messenger, or mount. Then later, the personification or form of Inari. In some old Japanese villages, foxes are still worshipped in shrines as protectors of farming. In China, the view on foxes slants a little more evil. While foxes themselves are seen as good luck and fine fortunes, especially in blessings in romance, the Chinese version of fox spirits are seen as family-destroying vixens. Much like how in the West, a bitch is a vicious female, and also the term for female dog, a seductive female or homebreaker is likened to a vixen. Worship of fox spirits in China therefore embrace the negative, greedy, and lustful, a spirit worshipped to manipulate and control men. The more positive worship of fox spirits are forced to distance themselves, encouraging views such as lifetime pair bonding, as foxes are loyal and often mate for life. Foxes also make good parents, and fox spirits are frequently asked to give hopeful parents with smart and strong children, as quick-witted as foxes, with the adaptability and cunning that foxes are known for. Of course, there is also the worship for beauty and related magics. I myself have a decently good relationship with foxes and fox spirits, and have, in my past life, reincarnated as one of them. So some of the fox spirits still recognize me as family. After reincarnating out, I sometimes still help them, ask favors, and of course repay them. From what I recall, the favors usually revolved around children or their descendants. Funnily enough, I can tell the difference between Chinese, Japanese, and Korean fox spirits when I meet them. I can say that they do behave differently and fit some of the stereotypes related to them. The regional differences, I suppose. In general, they promote creative thinking, out-of-the-boxes ideas, unconventional plans, and are hard to catch. They are also goofy, and are easy to bribe once you find the correct buttons to push. Don't approach them thinking you can push their buttons though. If you are new to their worship, trying to bribe your way in can cause a severe backlash. While red foxes are one of the most common and notable foxes, the red fox in certain areas like Oregon are highly endangered. In recent study in 2023, the Sierra Nevada red fox is estimated to have only 33 left in the wild. Without a strong breeding program and initiation, it is likely that this subspecies will become extinct in the near future. In introduced areas like Australia, red foxes are scorned as pests. They are smart enough to get through fences, dig under enclosures, unlatch doors, and kill all the prey trapped inside. Like squirrels, they store their food or leave them for later, leading them to kill off a whole flock of chickens and ducks, pile them up, and ignore them. This makes foxes seem particularly bloodthirsty, and for the small homestead farmer, it is devastating to see your entire flock decimated, and not a single hand left. The Chariot. An unexpected card to accompany Red Fox. But you have a decision to make. a path to choose from too. You have to cross a bridge and overcome some challenges or difficulty. There is a certain amount of spiritual involvement due to the fox, while the chariot's spheres of influence reaches through monetary, financial, reputational, or competitive success and trials. There is a spiritual spin to this. I sense a fog of mystery, and honestly, I expected the High Priestess to appear instead while shuffling the cards. Perhaps there are two or more parties involved, two or more sides to this affair, and a black and white design, a light and shadow counterpart. Looking at the character here, she seems to be hiding half her face, and the implications of having her features split in two makes me think that there are secrets involved. Occultic mysteries, spiritual lies, hidings, shadows, sneakiness. The chariot itself is a complete opposite. They race in the day and are as bold as the sun. They do not fear being seen, and in fact enjoy it. There may be a healthcare link through the chariot. Maybe some of you may work as an EMT, hence the racing, as your job involves racing against time. It does bring to mind certain curses and spells. You could have crossed paths with a cursed or spelled individual. Or maybe you saved them and are now mixed into the entire spiel. It doesn't seem like the curse is enough to kill. Probably Mayim or Scar. Might have a jealous person out there cursing someone else more dark. A two-faced friend, perhaps. I'll need more cards to know. The Eight of Pentacles. This is a card of stability, of steadily growing wealth and finances. Hard, honest work, a decent progress, and a good accumulation of wealth. Every coin in here is delicately carved, polished, shined, and mounted. You still have a few coins to work on, but look at the display, there is already so much done. Humility, pride in your work, concentration, determination, and focus. You are rather comely looking, average or above average. Not a Hollywood bombshell by any measures, but your features are decent. No obvious flaw, an evenly formed face. Not bad. I detect some insecurity, which explains why I'm called to judge your features. You are no pop star or celebrity, but you shouldn't feel too bad about your looks. You might need to distance yourself from social media or popular Instagrammers, fashion influencers, and so on. They are warping your senses. Furthermore, you are exposed to quite a bit of Photoshop and filters. So the features of these people online will always look better than yours. It is all edited. Thinking you can achieve their looks by dropping 20 pounds is ridiculous. If you have a bit of a bouncy belly, I'm telling you it's normal. Man or woman with abs, or both, can have a bit of belly. This is just how the belly protects itself from physical trauma, having a bouncy layer of defense. Physical features are very much genetic and dietary last. The genes of yours will fight tooth and nail to retain those protective layers. Only extreme diets or surgery can change those features of yours, and honestly, you shouldn't do it. Keep yourself healthy and work on your self-confidence. Five of Cups. I see an emotional disappointment. Perhaps a love didn't work out. You may have worked, saved, slaved even, to keep your partner happy. In the end, they left you. Maybe they cheated. Either way, your heart is shaken and you begun to question everything. You struggle the right things, but as though balancing eggs, there is always those cups that keeps falling over. The loss cuts you deep and you are filled with a sense of helplessness. You might see yourself as old, aging, unwanted. You need to reaffirm your two cups here. Separate the good memory from bad. Appreciate the good times. Scrub away the taints. Treat it as riding a merry-go-round. The horses and unicorns may be fake, but the fun you had was real. Things may not have turned out the way you wanted, so dust off the ashes, sit down, rest a little. Your next step is to feel safe, to feel secure in the silence, relax, breathe, and work out the kinks in your muscle. Then it's spring cleaning time. Wash things deep and clean, set the table, clear the trash. When you look back at a clean house, you will feel a distinct change. Don't be afraid to ask help from trusted friends and family. You can't raise a bun alone, and a bun is essential to surviving winter. 6 of Pentacles. You get things back on track. It almost feels like a predetermined route. Somehow you slipped back into the hard-working, steady work of the 8 of Pentacles time. You are beginning to put things back into their grooves. The surplus that you have, you gift and donate to others. You still feel some pain, but it's much more distant. It could be the death of a fiancé or a spouse of long years. You don't think you'll ever get the kind of relationship back again? It's fine to take a break or leave romance altogether. You do have strong family bonds and connections. There are people you can't abandon no matter what. You steadily work your way back. Maybe you'll make a full recovery, maybe you won't, but day by day you feel a little stronger, a little less lonely. Eternal union, a new love is forming. I'm almost tempted to shove this card back and pick a new one. Just like how you feel right now, the pain of separation still aches in your heart. Somehow, you find yourself being pursued. Probably by someone younger. I don't detect any illegal ages, and I trust you to keep your wits about you even if it happens. It might feel too sudden. And the appearance of this new romance make you shrink back and hesitate. It's okay to say no, to let them down gently and say that you're not ready, that your wounds still feel fresh and new. They don't seem pushy or obnoxious. I feel some waggy tail foxboy energy from the other side. From your side though, you're still a little numb. Your heart and brain needs a little massage. It might not be a new romantic love, but a new child. Or a literal fox, showing up one day and demanding to be your pet. Search out on the legality, you might have to spay them if they are invasive species in your region. I do feel strong family associations from the Kitsune. They have some background plan here. Your feelings are too raw and too present for me to see what the plans are. The good news is that they don't mean to harm you, so I'm content to leave it at that. I am done with this card now. I'll move on to the next one. Card C6. You have the Owl. Number 4 representing wisdom. Now, as many might now know with the mainstream media, the owl is a representative or the sacred animal of Athena, the goddess of war and strategy. There are some theories as to which species of owls they are, and one of them is the little owl, a subspecies named Athena nocta owl, Athene nocta owl, Noctua owl. They were named Glauca. Athena's favorite owl was named Glauca, meaning bright blue. This owl here seems to be the common barn owl. There are plenty of them around and they aren't considered endangered species. However, there are a few areas of fragmented barn owl populations, and these subspecies become more and more threatened as their habitat continues to shrink from human activities. As for owls in general, based on the reports of BirdLife organizations, out of 227 species, 24 are vulnerable, 13 are endangered, and 3 are critically endangered. These three critically endangered ones, as far as I could research, are Glossidium moriorum from the Brazilian state of Pernambuco, but have since been declared extinct since 2014 and reclassified to possibly extinct in 2019. They are endemic to a very, very small part of the Brazil coastline forest, right on the eastern part of the map, just at the tip, and have not been seen since 2001. For the next critically endangered owl is the Anoborn Scopes owl from Equatorial Guinea, previously Spanish Guinea, and it's a totally different place from Papua New Guinea. I have only a middling grade in geography and I'm still confused with the different Guineas. I welcome the Guineas to explain in the comments so I don't have to. These species of owls are in a tough spot. If the government and the people were to expand, industrialize, and modernize, it would help the people have a better tomorrow, but it would also endanger these owls even more, and other species of Equatorial Guinea animals. It's a hard decision and takes much considerations. The third one on the list is the Seoul Scopes owl, or Otus menadensis. Seowensis. Otus menadensis seowensis. It is suspected to be extinct. However, local reports mention sightings. Although the last birding survey done in 1998 saw none. As their name suggests, they are endemic to the island of Seoul, north of Sulawesi, Indonesia. This region is undergoing massive logging operations, farming operation expansions of coca and cashew, two of Indonesia's cash crop, as well as old timber fuels the export and economy. This has driven the owls out of the forest and allegedly into human habitation. Even then, the sightings are conflicted. Spiritually, owls represent wisdom, mystery, intelligence, intuition, knowledge, clairvoyance, truth-piercing, transformation, and shadow blessings. Most of their spiritual abilities are derived from how the owls have large, unnerving, and unblinking eyes. Their wide, piercing stare seems to peel layers of you and seek out your soul. Despite scientific studies claiming how owls are actually pretty dumb, and with a small brain, these legends and spiritual meanings have endured. However, I suspect that most of these owls that spawn the legends are likely nighttime owls. As with most predatory birds, they are cautious of humans. Then humans are less likely to see owls in the dark. So the more reliable time to see owls sitting around will be daytime, when the night owls are resting. If you spot them and they hear you, they are going to stare at you to determine how much of a threat you will be. Unfortunately, like all nighttime predators, they have a harder time seeing clearly in the day, which explains the prolonged staring. They can't clearly see, and the thin hairless ape watching them could be hostile. Pet theories aside, their unceasing state of observation makes them great spirit animals, totem, and familiars when it comes to guardianship, caution, scrying, recording, and as a patron of scribes. The chariot. Okay, what the heck? The entire of early set C seems to keep attracting the chariot. This is like the third or fourth time he has come out. Within the chariot, it is the triumph over trials, challenges, directions, paths, decisions, and actions. I specify action because the owl is more inclined to observation. So seeing the chariot here suggests that the time of observation is now over. You know enough and it is time to act decisively. Oh, I get it now. As I have mentioned previously, Athena is the goddess of war and strategy. the patron of Athenians. They differentiated her from Ares, the other Greek god of war, by claiming that he represents the messy, violent part of wars, while Athena is the strategist and represents the glorious, honorable, clean part of wars. However, one of Athena's episodes reads along the lines of she who rides on the front line of wars. This generally means that she leads the war as their leader. So instead of plotting and planning at the back while others do her grisly work, she was in the front line participating. She's a very active war goddess, and the chariots were also used extensively in war by the Greeks and also in racing games. I do think that this is a sign that your foresight and intelligence is wasted on holding yourself back from participating. If Athena, the strategist of the Greeks, didn't stand back and watch her plans play out, you shouldn't either. Come, stand at the front lines with your men and fight this war. 7 of Pentacles. I can see a distinct amount of boredom. You look at your accumulated harvests, including your future harvest, and there's that little itching inside you to move, to keep moving. Maybe you want to invest your wealth, your time, your talents, but where? You think, you hesitate, you brood, you wonder, you dream. You are done admiring your hard work and the fruits of your labor. Stop hesitating. Don't let the fruits rot on your vine. Your harvests are in barrels, and you have got to start brewing them before they over-ferment and decay. Don't stop. Keep working. You have taken a long enough break, and now your muscles are losing definition. Your brain is softening, and you are too young to remain in a sedentary state. Persevere, plan, execute, advance. The 7th of Pentacles is like the 7th card, same as the Chariot. Start moving. The Knight of Pentacles. He is a hardworking man, steadfast, reliable, young, vigorous, earnest, traditional, and stubborn. He is also diligent and willing to pursue his goals one step at a time. While the Pentacles cards aren't always known to be cards of actions, unlike Wands and Swords, they are the cards of good, honest work and determination. Every step, every stone they set is a foundation of an unshakable fortress. The king and queen sits on the throne based off the hard work they did starting from the ace. Every mountain first starts with a stone. On another note, I do often read the Knight of Pentacles as the messenger. So there may be an important message heading your way on a black horse. Maybe your messenger is driving a black Mustang. Who knows? It's possible. There's a slight thing of divinity, but the message is for you and not for me, so I'm not opening it. The message does have something to do with your accrued assets. Maybe inheritance, investments, or trust fund. 3 of Swords. This is a card of betrayal, heartbreak, guilt, and loss. It does seem like some things have waited for too long. The moment you begin, the rusted gears you never saw will fall off, break, or shatter during work. Well, it's a result of waiting for too long, but don't be discouraged. You have enough resources to replace the parts, schedule maintenance, and assign new parties to fix them up. So the machinery breaking down isn't the main trouble. The main trouble is that you yourself are getting rusty. It is going to take a bit of personal investment to get yourself working back in shape. It could be that you did do your due diligence of examining and calibrating the parts, but the equipment still broke down within an important time frame. As for emotional betrayal, you might have gotten lax with our boundaries and friends. Some of the close parties have benefited from your lack of personal involvement. They could have been friends trusted to manage a fund, and it turns out they were embezzling the money and taking advantage of your friendship. Which is why your cursory scan failed to notice a problem. The auditor you trusted to examine themselves found themselves trustworthy. Some of your decisions took them by surprise, and they acted either too late or too harshly. resulting in your discovery of their betrayal. You might want to get a impartial third-party auditor for further actions and lawyer up with new contract renewals. 7 of Wands. You have a lot of 7s here. It's almost a lineup of 777. You play Lotto? Don't sink into gambling addiction. My guy, if you can't leave the slots for 6 months without some gacha game, Lotto or sports betting, then you have a problem. Seek counseling. In general, you will solve an issue that caught you off guard. It's related to the card before, in that there was betrayal, but luckily you were able to react in time with sufficient intelligence and force. You have young sprouts to defend. And you did it well. There was no deep loss. You were able to keep your wits about you. Your fence line was never broken and your young trees will grow well. It was only the initial phase that you were forced on your back foot. After that, your strong defense kicked in and the problem was solved. Your enemies might have laid an ambush, but the ambush failed and they lost their army plus savings. You really took the gas out of them. You will have to be diligent for months after, until your trees mature into a forest. Your enemies will always slink around the outer perimeter, looking and searching for weakness. Assemble a standing guard, training routines, and pay them well. If these young sprouts under you are what's under your care, you need to be even more vigilant. They will look upon you as though you are the chariot, and it's time you step up into a leadership role and show them what a good lord, leader or master of the arts are made of. You have the little hour of Athena, whispering in your ear and giving you advice at opportune times. So stand strong and be courageous. Your sprouts will make you proud. Illuminate the shadows. Focus on a solution. Yet another 7. 21 is 3 times 7. We have a 3 here. And 7, 7, 7. Sevens! These 7s definitely mean something special for you. It's a personal thing for you, so it's harder for me to tell what it is. Don't worry, I'll let you keep your secrets. You have a certain level of animal blessings around you. All types of animals. You might need a nocturnal gaze for the shadows. As for what it means in the real world, it depends on the situation. Maybe it means more infrared cameras around your and inside your area of living, factory or farmland. Maybe it means more night guards. Maybe it means you should be cautious of night raids. Maybe it means the people are planning against you in the dark. So you need to seize the narrative, be open to interviews, display your story to the world. The more eyes you have on you, the harder it is for villains to hide in the shadows. Whatever it is, you have a good head start into solving them before they explode. You might have more than one opportunity to snip off the resource lines and ambush their ambush. Think like a war general. Rout your enemies, force them against a cliff, back them into an enclosed area, cordon it off and siege from a distance, starve them out, play their supporters' morale, weaken their foundations, learn from war. Athena has a story to tell. This will be the end. I'll be moving on to the next card now. C7, we have the Wolverine. Number 5 representing fierceness. As their reputations might suggest, Wolverines are fierce carnivorous scavengers. Also, I'm a fan of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from The Mutants. Despite that, I'm happy he retired from the role and is beginning to do the things he enjoys and spend more time with his family. Guy had like 7 skin cancers since his debut, so I'm not holding it against him for the lack of Wolverine movies from now on. As for the animal Wolverine, they belong to the weasel family, but with bear modifications. They are the largest of the weasels and can take down prey much larger than them. They live in the boreal forests of the northern hemisphere, non-polar regions. Canadians and Russians will be more familiar with them. North Europeans will find them more rare due to prolonged poaching for the skin and fur trade, as well as treating them as pests. Due to their size, fierce nature, and relation to the weasel, they do embody the annoying parts of them, without the cuter features of the slinky kitty like otters and stoats. They hunt and prey on farm animals, with the habit of storing food that causes them to hunt in excessive numbers, store them under the brambles, and leave a heartbroken farmer or rancher behind. They have the capability to bully and steal all carrion stash from wolves, and will heartily feed on roadkill. This has left them a little more vulnerable when eating on the road from passing cars, and sometimes they end up as roadkills themselves. They are heavily opportunistic and am willing to shift prey preferences with food availability. Wolverines are far from invulnerable, as they can fall prey to the equally opportunistic bears, wolves, and cougars. As they are not the biggest, baddest predator around, it helps that they make up for the size difference with ardor and aggression. We have videos of people screaming, shouting, and charging at bears to scare them off. It doesn't always work, but it can be effective as long as you look like you are too much work to take down. If you are too healthy, too agile, too aggressive, grizzlies and mountain lions will think twice before preying on you, and not when there are easier prey around. That said, in late autumn, when the time period for fattening themselves is ending soon, weaker, less able predators often turn to unconventional food source, and that is when the large predators become more dangerous to humans and other smaller predators. This Wolverine card with the spiky foreground, the warrior, the impending hailstorm, I get the immediate aura that you are being forced into a corner or against a cliff. The world feels like it's against you, and probably is. So summon up the power of your Wolverine: fierceness, strength, aggression, rebellion, endurance, opportunism, self-defense, adaptability, and righteous rage to hold your ground against overwhelming odds. You are a one-man army, the sole warrior defending a bridge. The greater your adversary, the more potent your rage. None shall pass, and you will not fall. The Hierophants. It seems like you have an issue with authority or religious authority. They may be oppressive to the state of tyranny and, as the movie implies, forcing you against a war. The Hierophant is also an officiant of marriage, so you could be facing an unsuitable marriage partner that your friends, family, parents, and pastor think is good for you, but you detest them with all your heart. Perhaps it's something personal, perhaps it is not. You want to break out, to burst free. You find excuses and reasons, like Penelope, the wife of Odysseus, who made excuses after excuses, reasons after reasons, staying true to her marriage and refusing to marry any prince, king, or hero, protecting their bedchambers from a foreign man who would violate her sanctity and ruin the kingdom her husband built. You summon the strength to fight the world the society imposed upon you day after day. Every day you wake up, it is a new day of war. You strain against any and all authority, refusing to submit. The Knight of Cups. You have a suitor. One after your heart. You await his arrival, but he has rivers and seas to cross. The Hierophant keeps them away from you, but your knight in shining armor comes closer every day. He has a very important cup, an artifact. It can turn the tides, but they have to ride cautiously lest it spills. Also includes a secret. That's why he can't spill it. There is a grave secret that has something to do with overarching authority, so they have to be very careful with the situation. They need some divine help on their side to navigate and manage the situation, and it's a tightrope act. I feel that the divine help on their side has been affirmed, but on your side you can't see it. So you fret and worry for them, As you fight on your fronts, all you can do now is to wait for relief. It might take some time before they bring back up, but I can confirm that they will reach in time. The Four of Wands. This will be an unusual reading. Four of Wands is usually positive, but here, the Four of Wands looks like a false front. There is a fake outlook of peace, family, community. There are houses, bases, and picnic tables set up, but the area is empty and sparse. Usually the Four of Wands represents foundation, strong family bonds, harvest, and group work. But your Four of Wands have a secretive, slimy look to it. The house is empty and the hearts are dull. You find a pretense of forced cheer, advertisement, and distant happiness. But in reality, everyone is suffering and miserable. Those who think that they are happy are forcing themselves to be happy, bootlicking the elites in hopes of preferential treatment. Wait. Holy shit, you are in a cult. This looks and reads like the movie Midsummer. I'm really getting the cult vibes here. If you are interested, you can head on to the subreddit r/x-Mormon. Whether you are Mormon or not, the people in there are extremely understanding of cult escapees. They might be able to give you enough information and help clue you into resources to get yourself out. Be careful though. That subreddit has frequent preachers and cult members strolling through the site looking for vulnerable people to convert and report on. Don't reveal too much of your situation. Stay in the background for a while if you don't feel safe. There are enough people talking about their experiences that might be able to help you even without you revealing yourselves. I can only wish you luck here. It will be tough to leave. Five of Wands. I have got good news. Infighting in your cult has already begun. The elites at the top are tearing at each other's throats, murdering each other in order to solo more power. You might be the pawn or the child of someone important. I can't believe I'm saying this, but don't trust your parents to keep you safe. They are as much pawns and as brainwashed as any other. Don't let yourself be roped into their plans. You can demand to be a monk or a nun of a more recognized and better developed area if it benefits you. Something that gets you far away from them. They might be unlikely to let you out of their sights, but usually there are missionaries sent out in order to lure in others, and you can try to take that chance to escape. Stay as far away as you can with any associations with the people at the top. Make as neutral statements as possible. Be firm and neutral. You will need all your ferocity and wits about you, and never ever ever allow someone to bring you to a second location. The Six of Cups. Despite the world burning down around you, you have managed to grow a new garden of yourself. A small one. This could refer to an internal garden, a spiritual area for your soul, where you can feel relaxed and safe. This small garden nourishes you. You have few trusted friends who are aware of how fucked up this place is. Messages are hidden in the flowers. You guys may have made your own flower language on your own. There is a lot of secrecy to your communications with them. There are small silent sweetness with your friends once the guard looks away. You share what little you have, and they the same. They have been your only refuge in this madness, and you are soulmates. Third eye vision. Reclaim your mind. You have a lot of deprogramming to do. Normally, this card reads as though the lights of the cosmos are entering you. But for you, you are vomiting out your traumas and terror. You have words that burst from you as you regurgitate and fill the endless void with your emotions. Purge yourself when you can, and after, rest and recover. For you, the endless void of silence is the safest space you can imagine. As you scream into the void, you feel your skin cracking and peeling away. Keep at it, you are punching out of your old skin. You will burst out bigger and stronger than before, with more energy, more fight, and more strength. Embody the Wolverine and stand your ground. An additional message is that you have some safety in the grandfather tree. It means something special to you, and you are the only one who understands its meaning. I'm done now. I will move on to the next card, and I hope you can get out to safety. Good luck, guys. Alright, card C8, we have the elephant, number 10, representing leadership. It is blatantly obvious here. That the artist referenced the Hindu god Ganesha, the god of prosperity, wisdom, and the patron of arts and businesses. Here he is backed by his mother Parvati, the primordial Hindu mother goddess of the Himalayas, fertility, beauty, and motherhood. In this occasion, Ganesha seems to be his mother's arms as he acts in her will. Personally, I have a pretty good relationship with Ganesha, though he usually appears to me with two trunks, patting my head with one and smashing some villain or enemy with the other. The first time I met him, it got quickly awkward when he was patting my head and telling me good job, and then his other trunk was picking some guy and bashing that other guy into a pulp. Have you seen pictures of an elephant attack or stampede? It is not safe for life. The person literally has to be scraped off the ground with a spoon and collected in a basket. That is how fearsome an elephant is. He also appears to me in chibi and cute miniature form when he visits. Okay, back to the elephants. Elephants are majestic creatures that terraform the land. African elephants are known to tear down trees so that grassland can grow, maintaining prairies and savannas that other smaller birds, mammals, and insects depend on. They also dig furrow in the ground to access groundwater and springs, helping other animals hydrate in the dry season when all the lakes and rivers have dried up. They migrate and search long distances in search of watering holes committed to memory. Elephant herds are matriarchal, and often enough, permanent herds of elephants within a range socially owns a watering hole by the matriarch. So visiting herds have to ask her for permission to use the watering holes. They are known to be the most empathetic animals in the animal kingdom and have repeatedly helped release other animals caught in traps, chase away lions hunting prey, and destroy trail cameras that poachers set up. That said, teenage males and sexually frustrated adults have been known to be not just assholes but murdering rapists. With the intense poaching of elephant tusks, this has led to the drastic fall of elephant populations. So solitary males have low prospect of mates, and they turn to the next largest land animal around, which are the rhinos. When the males try to mount the rhino, they kill the rhinos by accident, breaking their backs in the act. Reservations now try to import mature adult males to spar with the teenagers and let the angst and frustration out. It could be said that a decent male adult role model prevent teenagers from becoming murdering rapists, and I find that rather true of humans as well. Instead of expecting women to do the legwork of keeping perverts at bay and being unfairly punished for the actions of others, it will be more important and suitable that the fathers, uncles, friends, and men themselves step up and prevent the younger generation from being led astray by their base desires. Spiritually, elephants represent prosperity, strength, protection, wisdom, longevity, vitality, and divinity. They are the most often called upon to destroy obstacles and overturn tyranny. Strength. A more fitting major arcana couldn't have appeared. Strength not only means physical, moral, or actions, but also emotional, mental, and spiritual. The courage to do what is right resides in you. You need to have a conversation with your inner self, a negotiation, and a balance. Your primitive forces and desires, against the rules of society, morals, and responsibilities. There is a certain amount of control that you are advised to have, a constant vigilance against the darkness of the heart. You aren't called to destroy your shadows, but to understand, work with, live through, and manage them. This is a positive card that encourages you to explore further, to push your boundaries and explore the world. There is a massive growth that is available, and you need a mental and physical terraforming to get in shape and work your magic upon the world. Four of Cups. Benefit of meditation, we have fear. The usual readings point towards negativity, tantrums, giving up, refusal, and stagnation. Here though, you have peace, inner zen, consideration, and gifts from the divine. You should take some time to rest with nothing but you and your thoughts. Straighten out your words, your artistic work, your ideals and ambition. You just might discover a pleasant surprise designed for you. It's a gift from Ganesha. He is, after all, the patron of arts and businesses. There is also an extra benefit to plant a tree so the next generation can enjoy its shade and boundaries. The old tree in your backyard could use some descendants. Two of Cups. Partnerships and unions. You got a new business deal waiting in store, but not unless you clear out the fronts. The surprising gift could be this partnership itself. It will be equal and fair, and there is an air of divine arrangement through this. So take this opportunity for this new beginning. A brand new deal for a brand new world. Secret temptation. Being led astray. I understand things better now. Somewhere out there is a devil trying to seduce you. Perhaps a pretty new thing has appeared to corrupt your marriage, or a young virginal nymph. They seem like they're barely legal. Don't tap that ass, dude. Ain't worth it. They may have daddy or mommy issues and so attach themselves to you. You need to have firm boundaries. Keep them at arm's length and disallow intimate physical actions. They may become desperate enough and try to sneakily appear with less clothes than usual, sleep on your couch or chair half naked. Don't buy their innocence. Stupid and naive, yes, but innocent? Nah. There is a succubus hanging on their shoulders. They may also have a mood disorder, and if you are not experienced in dealing with it, you might find them unpredictable. So you might be forced into a situation where you need to fawn over them to keep them from extreme depression. No matter how much you pity them, you are not a professional on this front. They may threaten you with their life, and you might feel sorry, but I gotta tell you, shit is shit. You are not responsible for taking out your trash or fixing them. No, taking out that trash or fixing them. Push away this boundary violator with the strength of Ganesha and refuse to be alone with them. One cry of wolf and your entire reputation and business is at stake. Again, they are not worth it. It is not your job to save their lives. It's a straightforward message here, so that will be it for card 8, C8. Moving on to the next one. Bye. Card C9, we have the Deer. Number 11, representing power. There is a few things to break down here. This deer on display looks like a stag. I can't tell what the species are, but there's a show of antlers grasping or cupping the moon. The woman here has a classic Artemis look, with the association of deer, hunting bow and arrow, and the moon. For the deer part, the deer antlers are graded by symmetry, the number of points, and each point must be more than 1 inch apart, with odd shapes or points considered a flaw. In trophy hunting, each country manages their trophy bucks of each species, suitable to be hunted as trophies. Licenses are sold and tourism is encouraged during hunting seasons. In general, a stag with a massive 10 or 12 points on its rack is called a royal hart. It's spelled H-A-R-T, They were the popular targets of noblemen of the old, and hence the title, while a 16-point stack is called a monarch. I have heard of the legends of 20-point stacks appearing, where food is extremely plentiful and potatoes little. There have also been a recorded 30-point stack bred in New Zealand. Sadly for that stack and the ones bred, they were drugged to their gills in hormones, castrated while their antlers are involved, causing a biological response to never stop growing the antlers. This became a legal trouble and animal abuse case where their antlers grow so large, their skull cracks open and splits apart. That particular stack breeding farm has since been shut down, though I do not know if the owners relocated and built a new farm and are still doing the same but quieter this time around. After all, that farm in particular has customers and clients that are like high profile and a president at one point. Antlers are extremely draining on the body. It draws away much of its resources, and it was theorized that the stress of growing antlers and the rutting season pitting males against each other shortens a stack's life drastically. It is not much different than growing a baby, but on the top of your head. Instead of carrying with your back, you carry with your neck. In the spirit of Artemis, I would like to say that the goddess isn't against hunting. She is, after all, the goddess of the hunt, of wild things, of chastity, of the moon, and a patron of young heroes. What she is against is what these breeding farms are made for. The animals they breed and release before the hunting season often can't effectively survive in the wild. They don't know how to avoid or defend themselves from predators, and will not avoid humans since they're so used to being fed by them. They have no trap awareness and are not road avoidant and end up being a road hazard. This is what Artemis stands against. What is the point of hunting when there is no honor, no joy of experiencing the wild? What sport is there in shooting a defenseless animal that was bred and let out for you to shoot? The use of poisons and unwatched traps harms many other innocent creatures as well. As hunters, they need to do more than pay tax and membership for their licenses and hunting seasons. Online, vocal hunters often claim that they are conservationists, that their money goes into protecting these animals. However, that is not enough. Wise hunters need to know and realize that by taking off the cream of the crop, the biggest and the strongest trophies, they are leaving much less for the animals of the wild. By hunting the best specimens, it is the weaker ones that are left to breed more often, leaving the next generation worse off than before. There comes a point where the hunters will have to show their respect for an honorary prey, an honorable prey, that have managed to avoid capture, hunt, poisoning, or trapping, all the way until they manage to grow beyond the normal can, beyond a monarch. Respect them as you would an elderly veteran of many wars and let them walk away. The hunter should petition and create an upper limit to allow the most excellent creatures to live. In certain traditions and celebrations of villages, the best beast is often sacrificed and shared among the village after honoring their patron god and spirits of their ancestors. In modern times, the after processes of culling fairer deer, pigs, sheep, and goats are lacking. Most of these usable, plentiful meats are left to rot or to be thrown away and buried in landfills. The hunters responsible for culling, as well as trophy and sport hunters, are being called by Artemis to band together and usher in the spirit of charity. Let us not waste these magnificent creatures, pests or grand. Homeless people can be fed, hides can be tanned and given away or sold for weather protection. Conservation zoos and reserves could use this meat to help raise orphan lions and bears. Vultures teetering on the edge of extinction will really appreciate the help. Embody the spirit of the hero. Don't wait for someone else to take the charge. If everybody waits, then no one is doing the goddess's work. The devil. Well, someone is rejecting morality and reasoning. The devil here represents sin, decadence, physical pleasures, internal rot, abnormal fear, losing control of yourself, and being controlled by others. While not always an evil card, this time he is definitely pointing out how much you are a hypocrite and a liar to yourself. You, like the characters here, are chained to your base desires, egotistical, narcissistic, refusal to acknowledge the suffering or rights of others. People see you sitting on your high tower of morality and curse your name. They know how full of shit you are. This card also comes with a warning, for after the devil comes the tower. The tower that you build for yourself will crumble. It is the people around you, the poor and the peasants, who will tear you down and overthrow you. The torch in the devil here is also reversed. In Greek mythology, one of the symbolism of death is a downturned torch. It signifies an extinguished flame of life. Here, the flame is ongoing while the torch is downturned. It means that you can't escape in death. You will be held in the cage of life. You won't die fast enough to escape retribution. The devil has you in their grips. 9 of Swords. Sleepless nights, I see. Fear, anxiety, and guilt eats at you. They devour you alive. You wake up most nights in terror. The ground falls and never ends. You wait for the day the hole eats you. You tell yourself that you are ready. Yet, your knees knock against each other as you tremble. It is not the cold that causes you your shivering. You are your own worst enemy. 7 of Pentacles. How did it all start? If here, you came from riches. You have a decent fund for a comfortable life. Your future is settled. There's nothing you have to worry about in life. That's when things start getting boring. You think and you wonder, what can you do with your harvest? What can you do with your time? 9 of Pentacles. Did you start cultivating drugs then? I see some exotic activity that requires protection and overalls. You are earning good money, but it's not about the money. It's about the company and the friends. This exotic hobby has brought you into touch with some of the wildest people you have never imagined meeting in your life. Some, their social status is lower than yours. You ignore them. Others, their social status is much higher. Old money, blue bloods. Where you once were, where you came from, you were considered rich. Where you are now, you might as well be a penniless beggar. You feel so small and weak, yet the eyes on you excite you. Their attention makes you feel important. You feel like an illicit secret. You deal on the moral grey fence or outrightly illegal goods. You enjoy people fawning over you. When you meet the people that were once where you were, you scorn them and crush them under your foot. Just like the ones you met when you were the new one in this career, and others crushed you. The thoughts of doing worse to everyone else gets you drunk. The Page of Swords. This reading is both reversed and upright. You have always been a people person. And in this ideal future with your mysterious hobby, you have gotten those people. You have a wealth of knowledge and you love acting as the mentor to the newcomers. You enjoy introducing the young, innocent and naive ones to the older and sometimes very old people. You know what those old people are up to and you don't care. You won't protect those young ones. They knew what they are getting into, you tell yourself. And that's why you spend nearly every day having nightmares. You have been those young ones that you now feed to others. This job has perks. You eat so much caviar and goose liver that you're basically shitting straight gold. Maybe there's a joke or two about how you can sell those bricks you shared to the people curious about the taste of luxury. And here is the decisive end. Should you continue on your way, the devil's chains will tighten, and the tower doomed to fall will rise up one step higher. You have until the flames reach you to change. these friends of yours, they laugh behind your back. You are a stinky peasant. The same as the ones you detest. Fame and money has corrupted you. To them, you are like a dancing dog. Yet another yappy thing licking their ass for fame. You aren't a person, but a resource to be exploited. Once the police and enforcement latches on, you'll be thrown to the wolves as a scapegoat. They will run free, with at most a slap on their wrist, as usual. The ones at the top will look the other way. The judges, the law. These people have friends in the right places. Friends you thought were yours. If they want you to be caught. Otherwise, it is much better to dispose of you. To throw you into the ashes and let the waves carry your bones away. Channel your knowledge, critical judgment. I don't have to answer for you. You have to answer for you. Your time, your experience, your insider knowledge can help bring these people down. The pen is mightier than the sword. Records can be kept. Conversations recorded. You guys already joke about how much of a criminal you are. Might as well pin that on their chest. Of course, if you are willing, the spirits are willing to channel knowledge into you and help you pin them down. There's faint signs of Metatron here. The stripe of God. If you are on the shit list, it should be known that you are getting fucked up on all ends by everyone. Do the right thing and there may be a lifeline left for you. That will be the end. I'll be moving on to the next card now. Card C10, we have the Tarantula. Number 13 representing connections. It says connections, but I'm seeing more of entanglements here. Some Sadako vibes. Are you a horror enthusiast? Tarantulas, they are the largest spiders in the world, and they often do not weave webs for catching prey, but to signal to the hiding tarantula that something has crossed their territory or to cover up their hiding spots. Built to run, pounce, and hunt, different species of tarantula have different specializations. They are a popular, kind of popular exotic pets and snacks and delicacies in certain parts of the world. They live mostly in the southern hemisphere and some north enough to be found in North America. For the larger species, birds, snakes, rats, and baby mammals are fair game for them. Like any other animals, those that possess bright, brilliant colors are particularly targeted by the exotic pet trade. Since they are usually small, they are easy to sneak and smuggle through borders. Their natural habitats are also at risk of destruction by human encroachment. If this was a more positive reading, I would say that the character here is one with peace and immersed in the woods, uncaring even of the outside things that happens away from it. True immersion within and into nature. However, this reading began with a shadow. There seems to be a family conspiracy. This character here represents the reader of C10. The readers here have a broken family, and each person desires connections, starved and slaved for any morsel and drop of love. You could be living in poor conditions, with pests running amok. That is why the tarantula showed up for you. You need someone to consume these pests flooding your immediate environment. Here, the spider webs covering the character here could be a form of protection. Frail as they might seem, another reason is that the tarantulas are trying to cover you in camouflage, or cover you in an undesirable and disgusting coating, so that someone won't try to touch you. This seems more complicated than a broken home. This looks like an actively abusive home or situation. You feel dead inside, like a corpse. You crawl for hope and are covered with scars of your childhood. You have an aversion to touch. You feel disgusting, despicable, revolting. You hate yourself, yet can't bring yourself to stop begging to be loved and wanted. You may have a fascination with child serial killers and school shooting. Morbid, terrible things keep you floating just above the line. Still, every lap of the wave forces bitter salt water down your throat. The Devil. Can't say I'm surprised. With what I've already said before this card came out, it does not seem like you are free and happy. Here, the Devil says that you are trapped. Like the characters. To a certain extent, this devil is of your own making. Part of your fear of the person controlling are what you give to them. They, through their manipulations, threats, torture, and abuse, have fed on your fear and grew fed from your submission. Even if someone were to put the key to the lock in your hands, you struggle to find the courage to unlock that bond. Learned helplessness buries your soul. Hard. The Ace of Swords. Hard as it might be, you have to be the one to cut the bonds. It is you who have to take the first step out the door. You need to grasp the sword. You need to start to take action to leave. Gather your resources, your accounts, your identifications. There are resources online on how to leave abusive relationships and homes. You are watching this online, this video. You have access to the internet. Instead of depending on psychic readings, use this power you have to grasp actual resources that can help you directly. Psychic readings are useless in real life. And I'm saying this as a tarot reader myself. Readings are only good for emotional comfort, and no one should use them for actual advice. Sure, there can be some suggestions that you never thought of, but in the end, it's like trusting ChatGPT. All of this is an agglomeration of the many pieces and points. It is you who have to filter and cut through the lies and falsehoods. There are words meant for you and words meant for others. Choose wisely. Here is a piece of your wish. A nice, peaceful family, homely comforts, maybe a small family. Home. You want your neighborhood. You want to be the neighborhood friendly uncle or auntie. You want to live in a cottagecore countryside. You fantasize about the future you want. However, all of these two here have a faint cover of shadows and illusions. Maybe you have already left, maybe you haven't, but there is a layer to these last two cards here. If you are having peacetime now, it seems like you can't believe in the peace. If you aren't, you don't believe in the peace that was promised to you if you were to leave. There is a lot you have to get through. Two of Cups. You have a very innocent wish here. A peaceful life, a wholesome union. The pain and fear of your past taunts everything in the present. The thought of union with another, as much as you desperately want it to be, terrifies you. It might be here, you might be here, but you are squeamish. You reject any possibilities. Like I said before, in the end, it is up to you to cut those chains. The evidence is in your hands, the witness claims, the reports. You must pass through the Ace of Swords before any of the end you wish for can happen. You sabotage yourself daily by wishing, then rejecting and punishing yourself for having hope. Align your universe. Navigate distractions. There are a lot of lies in your immediate environment. A lot of lies you told yourself. Your willingness, your unwillingness, they don't make sense to you. You have to align. Find an anchoring point. Fix your distractions. There is a lot you have to clear away in yourself. Use the information that you have access to. Find a new normal, honestly. not just in social acceptance, but of renewal and rejuvenation. You have to molt like the tarantula. Molt as many times as you require until you grow back your limbs and appendages. Tarantulas that can fling out their hair for self-defense refresh these hairs when they molt. You too need to molt and regrow these defensive hairs. There isn't much more I can read for all this now, so I'll be moving on to the next card. I wish you luck. Card C11, you are the fruit bed or flying fox. Number 12, representing kindness. You are the last card today. Oof. Fruit bats are technically known as mega bats. With flying foxes as a suborder of the mega bats. It's like saying that dogs are canines, but canines are not dogs. After all, foxes, wolves, and coyotes, they are all canines too, but they are definitely not all dogs. I will take it that the illustrator means flying foxes in particular, and I will focus on that. Unlike other notable bats, fruit bats cannot echolocate. Fruit foxes cannot echolocate. They navigate by sight. Sadly, these fuzzy creatures that are important to the Polynesian world, Madagascar, southeastern coastal forests of Africa, and north to northeast Australia, and parts of Asia sees them as pests. They are extremely important in seed distribution as their main diet often consists of fruits. There are flying foxes that fish and hunt for insects, but in general, flying foxes are frugivores. Not only that, but like bees, they're important pollinators when they feed on nectar. Try watching a flying fox shove their head into a flower to drink. There is no way that head is getting away scot-free from pollen dispersal as well. A rare case in the animal kingdom, flying foxes routinely engage in oral sex and courtship. Even monkeys and dolphins, who are reputationally the horniest creatures alive, are stuck with mostly only knowing the word of genital to genital sex. At best, there are some cases of them sucking themselves off or humping random objects, so these flying foxes engaging in oral intercourse between partners are rare indeed. As flying foxes are mostly nocturnal, they, like a lot of bat colonies, become tourist destinations. You can see them fly out of their cave, forest, or underneath the bridge in some cases. Their poop, called bat guano, is also an important agricultural resource. Countries have willingly gone to war and fought over bird guano in nesting colonies. So battle over bat guano is no different. More than half the species of flying foxes are in danger of extinction, and at least 7 have gone extinct since records first began. The usual cause of their demise are, as always, deforestation, hunting, and being outcompeted by invasive species. In Southeast Asia, they are regularly consumed as bushmeat and are sold to curious tourists. Some villagers have found such profit in serving tourists that they no longer consume flying foxes anymore. These animals are protected by the law, but the law is only as strong as enforcement. And much of these enforcements are lacking in developing countries. For the poor and desperate, it is only illegal if you are caught. They have eaten flying foxes for centuries and will do so after. There are also whispers of illicit trades between two developed countries out of the corpses of flying foxes. They are used as lucky charms and talismans, as well as collector's items in some As flying foxes are frugivores, they can fly above fence lines and walls to eat the harvests of farmers. Precious tropical cash crops, bred and grown to be sweeter than its wild variants, greatly attract these birds. Unless the entire crop forest were to be encased in netting or raised under glass roofs of a greenhouse, very few methods can ward them off. It is possible that hosting a nighttime or more than a few nighttime flying predators like owls and a large buffer zones between farms and flying fox habitats can help. But the government would have to convince the farmers that it is worth it and provide actions to help their people. Otherwise, it is much easier to shoot, poison, and kill the bats when they are nesting and sleeping during the day. One troubling thing for farmers is that flying foxes can travel large distances in the dark. So it is better to retain well-cultivated forests, so these bats have enough food and roosts, if we want to see any increase in their numbers. Culturally, flying foxes are revered in some areas and despised in others. There are superstitions of how flying foxes are harbingers of disasters and famine due to how they consume farm stuff. For others, flying foxes are messengers of plenty and blessings for the home. Their guano is a precious resource, so having them roosting next to your home provides great benefits. Sacrifice your fruit trees, gain lush vegetables, tada! Plus, in a personal garden, it is not hard to wrap fiber netting or newspaper around the fruits you don't want getting chomped on. A large barrier and frequent cleaning to remove guano solves much of the smell. Spiritually, flying foxes represent community love, nourishment, diplomacy, oneness with the forest, and wealth. Death. In tarot, it is not often physical but spiritual. It means transformation, rejuvenation, revival, transcendence, and in some cases, ego death. I do see death as a friendly card and have a pretty good relationship with them. Our work sometimes overlap. That said, the card of death and the gods of death are another thing entirely. I don't have a good relationship with some of them and I find those guys particularly annoying. The writer here is death, and he is depicted as an honorable figure. Currently, I see that there is an issue with religious authority. The Hierophant here is the betrayer of the people he was supposed to protect and guide. Here he has assassinated the emperor, or otherwise sold him out to death. The empress here is forlorn and dying, while the child here, a representation of the masses of the kingdom, are confused. Some beg, others fawn. This Hierophant is trying to crown themselves twice. The first crown is one of paper authority, the second is an imaginary crown, fictional and non-physical, one he has created for himself, and is represented by the sun rising in the background. The Six of Swords, the card of suffering and living. In one aspect of this reading, this woman here seems Polynesian. There might be some stereotypes of Hawaii, what with all the fruits and the pineapple and all that, but it possibly applies to any seafaring, water traveling, or sailing culture. There is a little division between freshwater tribes and clans or saltwater sailing cultures. You could be neither, and simply a sailor longing for the waves and gentle ceilings. You weather like a duck, and it is not an insult. On the positive end, the water traversing cultures yearn to sail once more. There could be some difficulty in getting that done, maybe a legal restriction or a traveling ban. For others, they may be landlocked and wish to travel the seven seas and explore new lands. The more negative part of the reading is that some of the readers are being forced to leave their home. Seven of Swords. This card seems to point more towards the ones forced to leave than the ones who are in the culture. There was a conflict, broken trust, borders, thievery, and betrayal. You or your family could have been cheated out of your homes and lands. This could be the link to the spiritual authority here. I feel some form of colonialism, with your local king or leader dead by their hands, and you, the people, are being forced out of your homes. There isn't much to say, as what had happened all the same. Six of Wands. There is hope though, for all parties. After you leave, things get much better. Celebrations, achievements, blessings, they all return again. Festivities aplenty, war games, racing, riders click-clop into victories. I see promising new youths that you guys are raising. Sons of the tribes are doing you proud. Illuminate the shadow. Focus on a solution. I find it a little ironic that you are called to light the dark when the flying fox is mostly nocturnal. But this could be an advice that there is a snake among your kind. There is another night flyer that ain't what they seem. This could also be an advice. Something is hiding in the dark, picking you off unawares. So turn on that spotlight. Screen and search amongst your own. Don't bring this traitor under the boat with you. For the Six of Wands to happen, death to the dark has to begin. Then you have to discover, to learn, to practice. No one was born with the ability to sail or fly. So you guys will have to start all of that from the lowest level onwards. That will be it for card C11. You are the last one today. This time I have no outro, so goodbye and see you next time.